He was the longest-serving president in South Korean history, ruling the country with an iron fist for 18 years before being assassinated by the director of the Korean Central Intelligence Agency, Kim Jae-kyu. During his tenure, he openly defied the United States and through his own efforts, achieved the world-renowned Han River miracle. He is none other than South Korea's third president, Park Chung-hee. For over 40 years, no director in South Korea dared to make a film about him. It wasn't until his daughter, Park Geun-hye, was imprisoned that a South Korean director brought his story to the screen. Welcome to Oriental Frames. Thank you for your watching and subscribing. On September 16, 1979, an unforeseen twist unfolded when the former director of the Korean Central Intelligence Agency, Kim Jae-kyu, emerged in the heart of Washington, D.C. Before the gaze of global cameras and journalists representing various countries, he boldly exposed Park Chung-hee's embezzlement, despotic authority, tumultuous personal life, bribery of high-ranking officials in the U.S. House of Representatives, and other scandals. The recently appointed director of the Korean Central Intelligence Agency, Kim Jae-kyu, swiftly received this intelligence. Should Kim Jae-kyu unveil everything to the public, it would undoubtedly stoke public anger and ignite a media frenzy. Such an eventuality would not only damage Park Chung-hee's reputation, but also besmirch South Korea's honor. With this in mind, Kim Jae-kyu promptly sought an audience with Park Chung-hee to discuss countermeasures. After all, Kim Jae-kyu, the former agency head, had once supported Park Chung-hee's revolution, contributing to his successful ascent to the presidency. He was a former comrade. However, before the president could express his thoughts, the chief of the presidential security detail, Cha Ji-cheol, preemptively interjected, assigning blame to Kim Jae-kyu. Following their exchange, Kim Jae-kyu was left simmering with anger. The president promptly put an end to their altercation, summoning Kim Jae-kyu back to his office in isolation.
그 새끼가 나를 대한민국에서 제일 먼저 사라져야 될 인간이라고 눈에 눈물까지 달고 쓰러졌어. 그런 새끼를 어떻게 할 건데?
Without a moment's hesitation, Director Kim Jae-kyu swiftly laid out his contingency plans. He promptly decided to fly to the United States to negotiate with the Secretary of the Treasury, stifling any potential outcry, and reclaiming all the evidence in his possession, including the memoir he was penning. Through an informant, Mrs. Shim, who had defected to the United States, Director Kim Jae-kyu managed to locate former Director Kim Jae-kyu. The two began by reminiscing, sharing memories of their youth, recounting the days they had participated in the political coup alongside President Park Chung-hee. After analyzing the current situation, they finally delved into the main subject. Director Kim Jae-kyu assured former Director Kim Jae-kyu that as long as he handed over the manuscript, the president, for the sake of their past camaraderie, would surely absolve him of all blame. True to his word, the next morning, former Director Kim Jae-kyu willingly surrendered the manuscript. Yet, he simultaneously revealed a bombshell of a secret. According to his years of investigation while in office and information provided by the US CIA, it appeared that behind President Park Chung-hee stood a covert intelligence agency dedicated to handling unsavory matters on behalf of the president. This included activities like laundering money in Swiss banks, arranging liaisons between young women and the Blue House, orchestrating the appropriation of wealth from conglomerate tycoons, and even orchestrating the assassination of opposing political parties.
비밀 정보들을 두고 있어. 그걸 이끄는 놈을 CIA가 그렇게 부른다. Iago.
Iago is the antagonist character in Shakespeare's play Othello. This name reveals President Park's intentions. Moreover, former Director Kim Jae-kyu exposed that the Americans were planning to oust President Park Chung-hee within a year and support a new regime. Upon hearing this, Director Kim Jae-kyu became deeply concerned, losing sleep over it. He hurriedly returned to South Korea overnight, meeting with President Park Chung-hee to report the successful completion of his mission. He also cautiously inquired about the information regarding Iago.
혹시 이아고라고 들어보셨습니까?
그게 뭔데?
Coming from a military background, Director Kim Jae-kyu was not subtle in his approach. President Park's response, however, delved into their past revolutionary camaraderie.
우리 오랜만에 막사로 한잔할까? 5사 사단장으로 부임할 때, 그때 김 부장이 36년대장이었잖아. 응?
네.
정말 멋있었어. 아노코로와
The following morning, the president summoned a trusted group and turned the Blue House upside down, citing their discovery of American CIA-installed listening devices within the presidential residence. This action seemed more like a humiliation tactic aimed at Director Kim Jae-kyu. President Park Chung-hee was furious.
오만 방자한 새끼들! 대한민국을 얼마나 졸라봤으면 대통령 책상에다 도청장 쳐달아! 나 데리고 와! 당장 저 태극기 앞에 무릎 꿇으라 그래! 이거는 대한민국 자존심 문제! 정보부장은 대체 뭐하고 있었던 거야?
With a smoldering frustration, Director Kim Jae-kyu headed to the U.S. Embassy to find the truth. He unexpectedly confided a secret to U.S. Ambassador William Henry Glaystein Jr. It came to light that the U.S. had long been displeased with President Park Chung-hee's authoritative reign, spanning 18 years. Their intention was to select a new puppet leader and remove Park Chung-hee from power. The implications were clear. Director Kim Jae-kyu was faced with a choice, aligning with the information shared by former Director Kim Hyung-UK. On his way back from the U.S. Embassy, Director Kim Jae-kyu encountered a tank arranged by Cha Ji-cheol to protect President Park. Once again, this audacious move ignited his fury. The following day, a clash erupted between them, culminating with Director Kim Jae-kyu even drawing a gun. However, the path forward remained uncertain. Before Director Kim Jae-kyu could weigh his options, Cha Ji-cheol had already dealt him a treacherous blow from behind, aiming to displace him and take his position as the director of the intelligence agency.
아니 내가 각하한테 전 장군을 보안사령관으로 추천했을 때 말이야. 그 김 부장이 엄청 반대를 하던데. 그랬습니까?
Cha Ji-cheol covertly set up agents to monitor Director Kim Jae-kyu and discreetly handed over former Director Kim Hyung-uk's manuscript, brought from the U.S., to a journalist. Early the next morning, in President Park Chung-hee's office, Security Commander Chun Do-won approached. He leaned in, whispered a few words to the president, and handed him a newspaper. After reading it, President Park Chung-hee's fury was evident. He flung the newspaper onto Director Kim Jae-kyu's face right in the office. Astonishingly, former Director Kim Hyung-uk's supposedly vanished memoir had surreptitiously surfaced in a Japanese newspaper, catching everyone off guard. This dire situation left Director Kim Jae-kyu at a crossroads and prompted President Park to lose all faith in him. It was evident that someone was orchestrating a frame-up, intentionally sowing discord between him and the president. Meanwhile, overseas, former Director Kim Hyung-uk also discovered the news of his memoir's exposure. He knew his end was near. He was consumed by memories of the past, recollections of the various assassinations and violent activities he had undertaken under President Park's orders.
각하, 이미 상당수 의원들이 김 의원한테 붙었습니다.
어떻게 했으면 좋겠어요?
전 각하 명대로 하겠습니다.
임자 옆에는 내가 있잖아.
Before long, Director Kim Jae-kyu apprehended the undercover agent lurking within the intelligence agency. This agent was Louis, who operated out of Paris. Through a series of covert maneuvers, Louis had infiltrated the security command, their purpose being to monitor Director Kim Jae-kyu. Louis had served as Cha Ji-cheol's adjutant during his time in the military. It was Cha Ji-cheol who had recommended him for the role of a special agent. As these pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Director Kim Jae-kyu finally grasped the situation. By this point, President Park had lost faith in him. Cha Ji-cheol, already flaunting his power, relished in witnessing Director Kim Jae-kyu's isolation. Coupled with the indication of the U.S. supporting a new puppet leader, Director Kim Jae-kyu found himself at a crossroads, torn between choices. Should he regain the president's trust or step aside to observe from a distance, reaping the benefits of this situation? Interestingly, cunning President Park Chung-hee also considered eliminating former Director Kim Hyung-uk at this juncture, but he lacked capable operatives for the task. Therefore, he sought out Director Kim Jae-kyu for an all-night conversation, even tentatively inquiring about the possibility of stepping down from the presidency in favor of Director Kim Jae-kyu. Yet, beneath his words lay a clear intent to eliminate former Director Kim Hyung-uk.
어떻게 하기를 원하십니까?
임자 옆에는 내가 있잖아. 임자 하고 싶은 대로 해.